This is my 1989 BMW 735i, factory 5-speed. Has the M30 motor, straight 6, 12 valve, single overhead cam. Just had some head work as I replaced the head gasket, 3-angle valve job, and new exhaust guides. I have turbocharged it using parts from a factory BMW Turbo e23 745i. Starting with the intake, use the stock e32 airflow meter connected just to a cone filter. Suction pipe connects to this hard metal pipe and feeds directly to the cold side of the turbo. This is the line for the exhaust gas recirculation, connects to the valve cover. This is a temporary pipe, need to get a better one on there eventually. Coming to the bottom of the car, you can see that blue piece is for the oil return from the turbo. This is the charge pipe that feeds out of the turbo, comes around in front of the oil pan, through the front mount intercooler, and then comes up through the stock location for the air intake on the e32. Had to do a little trimming of the valance and trim out some of the metal around the radiator frame, but was able to squeeze a 2¼ inch intercooler up front. Charge pipe wraps around, feeds into the intake manifold. A little bit on the exhaust side. This is the factory 745i wastegate. It's been cleaned, tested, works great. That hard line connects to the turbo to read the signal to open up the wastegate. Wrapped in header tape there is the factory 745i downpipe that connects to the factory 735i exhaust. Coming around to the other side of the car, we'll talk about fueling. Upgraded the injectors from the stock 19-pound to 24-pound injectors. Added the Beji rising rate fuel pressure regulator. It's set to hit about 50 psi at atmospheric and rises about 1 psi per pound of boost. It's got a direct feed to the manifold vacuum line, as does everything else. This is the O2 clamp. When it receives positive pressure from the intake manifold, it interrupts the signal from the O2 sensor to prevent the computer from leaving out the air-fuel mixture. That's about it for fueling. This here is the bypass valve. When you shift gears or when you have vacuum in the intake manifold and positive pressure on this side after your butterfly valve closes, this plunger opens and relieves pressure on the intake side, and that dumps right back down into the intake side of the turbo. Oil feed for the turbo, I don't know if you can see it, but that little wire down there connects to the oil pressure sender. It's got a distribution block on it, and there's a braided steel line that connects and wraps down. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it feeds the turbo with oil. That's the basic setup of my 1989 735i turboed with 745i BMW parts and some custom parts as well.